up, everybody? This Eve coming back to y'all. Hit the sled with another episode. Before we get started, before we get going, subscribe, man. Please subscribe to the Hit the Sled podcast. Man, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and go to my YouTube channel. Hit the Sled. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like buttons so that I can get that membership up, man. Got a lot coming, a lot going on, and there's going to be a lot coming in the future, so stay with me. But for today's episode, I'm doing the ACC Preview. Conference play is starting this weekend, and it's a lot of things happening in the ACC. One of the things that's going on in the ACC is it's a season where a lot of teams are in it. A lot of teams got an opportunity to win the championship in the ACC. For the past 5 to 10 years, it's really been Clemson. Clemson is Clemson and everybody else. You got Clemson, and sometimes you had Louisville doing something. Other years you might have had FSU doing something. Miami has really been out of the loop. You might have 1 or 2 years. Carolina might be doing something. We had the 1 year Wake Forest was pretty good. But really, apart from that, it's really been Clemson. It's really been Clemson the whole time. And to be honest with you, it's good to see new teams coming into the fold. It's good to see new teams coming, trying to make a step back into the limelight to try to compete for the ACC title. And for this year, it seems like, to be honest with you, I believe it's a four-man race for the conference championship this year. You got Clemson, you got FSU, you got Miami, and you definitely got North Carolina. North Carolina is in it. So, as we look at it, when you break down these teams, when you start off with Clemson, you got to give Clemson their respect. Clemson's been dominant the last 10 years in the ACC. Clemson has really been dominant, but you got to go back to Clemson to see how it all got started. Dabo gets the job. Dabo has Taj Boyd as his quarterback. Taj Boyd leads on to Deshaun Watson. From Deshaun Watson to Trevor Lawrence. Let's look back. Taj Boyd played 4 years. Taj Boyd was a very good college quarterback. Won a couple of ACC championships for Clemson. He helped transition that gap to Deshaun Watson. Deshaun was there for 3 years. Deshaun could have been a number 1 pick, arguably could have been a number 1 pick coming out in the draft that year. And then you transition to Trevor Lawrence, who was a first round, who was the number 1 pick in the draft. So when you go through that Taj Boyd 4 years, Deshaun Watson 4 years, now you got Trevor Lawrence for 4 years. That's a lot of years of great quarterback play for Dabo. Dabo had 10 years of great quarterback play. And if you look at everybody else, Miami was nowhere to be found, unfortunately. FSU, you had those Jameis years. Jameis was balling those years. But also, those are the years that you had Taj Boyd was a quarterback at Clemson. Jameis won those years. So that was a great job. Those 2 years Jameis played. People forget, Jameis was a redshirt freshman. Jameis only played 2 years. Won the national championship his sophomore year, then came back his junior year. But that's when he had the crab meat and all that. Let's name with crab legs. We ain't going in and all that. But Jameis had a couple years. Apart from that, it's really been Clemson. Clemson's been the one that's really has taken their game to the next level. Then you have Miami. Miami had been floundering. Let's be honest. Miami's been floundering. And now they finally look like they look like they coming. They look like they could be coming back. Then you have North Carolina. North Carolina had that 1 year with Mr. Trubisky. He had a couple decent years. Now they're trying to get back. Mac Brown's an excellent recruiter. So we'll get to that. So Dabo he's really been coasting. The coasting is over. Coasting over. Dabo, since Trevor Lawrence left 2 years ago, ACC been up for grabs. Dabo can't do it. Dabo's lost a lot of coordinators. He hasn't been able to replace them. He lost a coordinator went to Oklahoma for the head coaching job. Tony Lewis, one of his other coordinators, the head coach down there in Virginia, he's not doing so well. He's struggling, but he's trying to get it back. He's trying to do some things. But Dabo has lost a lot. Can't really replace Deshaun and Trevor Lawrence. He has 6 years of top pick in the draft type talent at quarterback. His quarterback now, Cade Covington, he's a good player. He's a young kid, sophomore. He's coming along. He got talent. But I don't know. The reason why, in my opinion, for Dabo's success has been 10 years of great quarterback play. Which, to be honest with you, everybody needs that. You need great quarterback play to be successful. But now that he doesn't have that great quarterback play, we're about to really find out what type of coach Dabo is. About to find out. Urban Meyer won without a great quarterback. Saban has won without a great quarterback. If you're a marquee coach, Joe Gibbs, for my Washington Redskins, won the Super Bowl 3 times with 3 different quarterbacks. Parcells won with Phil Simms. Some people would say outside of New York, outside of NFC East, Phil Simms wasn't a great quarterback. So it's one of those things where you gotta see what Clemson gonna do. We move now to FSU. The way it's looking, FSU might be on their way back. FSU is doing a tremendous job. The head coach, Mike Norvell, had a lot of pressure on him, a lot of heat. FSU didn't hire Coach Prime. They didn't hire Dion. They didn't hire Coach Prime. So Mike Norvell, for a couple years, he was on shaky ground. But the last 2 years, it looked like he's starting to get this thing rolling. They had a big win starting this year against LSU. They doing well, man. They quarterback Jordan Travis, he's developing. He's a senior. He's played a lot of football. Now, I don't believe he's an NFL quarterback per se. But for college, he's doing a tremendous job. The transfer portal has been cool, been really good to him. Picked up a huge commit from Michigan State, a guy that I know very well, watching Michigan State for the past couple years, Keon Coleman. He's done a hell of a job. He played great against LSU. I should tell you something right there. He plays at the big moments. He steps up. He gets the job done. He make big plays. He's consistent. So FSU is really looking like they want to do something. And then on defense, they're led by Javers first. Considered top 5 pick in the draft. Now, he's starting off slow. He's getting a lot of double, triple teams. They paying a lot of attention to him, but he's a great player. He's making plays. So, FSU, they're right there. Then you got Miami and North Carolina. You got Mario Cristobal is in his second year. He had a big rebuilding job to do. First year was kind of disappointing. Had Josh Gaddis come in, highly rated offensive coordinator, came in from Michigan. Wasn't a good fit. Had to let him go. Defensive coordinator left to go to Alabama. Saban came calling. He had to leave. So he had to replace both his coordinators, which was a big thing. He replaced his offensive coordinator with a guy by the name of Shannon Dawson. He came from Houston. So far, him and the quarterback, Tyler Van Dyke, they've been doing a tremendous job. They got chemistry. Miami had a big win against Texas A&M. That was very, very good. They played very well that game. They played, man. They played well. So after last year, Tyler Van Dyke looked like he couldn't. Him and Josh Gaddis, that wasn't his kind of offense. He had a bad year last year compared to his redshirt freshman year, where he played very well coming out the gate. Played very well last year. He didn't, but this year he seems to be rebounding. It seems like he's having a connection with the offensive coordinator, Shannon Dawson, who came from Houston. Looked like he could be on something. He could be. So Miami is right there. They had to replace their defensive coordinator. They hired a guy by the name of Lance Goodry, who came from Tulane. Tulane had a good defense last year. So it's looked like, and defensively, they're holding their fort. They're doing pretty good. Miami's strength this year is that offensive line. They got some hogs up there. They got some hogs, man. They got some young freshman running backs. They got some nice, decent running back receivers, nice little receivers. Miami can do some damage. Now, the question is, after they beat Texas A&M, are they going to be able to stay consistent? Are they going to be able to stay consistent and beat the people they need to beat so that they can put themselves in position to play for a conference championship? That's the key to Miami right there. Can they beat the Dukes of the world? Can they beat Carolina? Can they beat their arch rival, FSU, Florida State? Now that's going to be the story. So we're going to find out about Miami, but they did a great job with the win over Texas A&M. That right there gives them the selling to propel themselves in their season coming up. The season that gives them confidence. Feel like they can be able to do something. The next one you go to North Carolina. Mac Brown. One of the things I say all the time about Mac Brown. Mac Brown is a good man. You can clearly see he's a good man. Mac is a hell of a recruiter. Mac can get them kids. He can get the kids. He can get the kids. But the thing is, can Mac put it together? He had Sam Howell for 4 years. Never won the ACC. Had a quarterback coming to his senior year, was propelled potentially a number 1 pick in the draft. Ended up going 5th round. Mac always had talent. Even when you go all the way back to Texas, Mac used to be top 3 every year in recruiting. But for some reason, they couldn't get a job done. They couldn't get it done. So Carolina, their main problem is the defense. They have Drake May. Drake May is the quarterback. Drake May is borderline top 3 pick in the draft. He's a young man that he can do it. He can spin the ball. Carolina's problem is not offense. It's defense. They got DC Gene Chizik. Gene Chizik he won the national championship at Auburn. Cam Newton. Let's not forget that. They went to Bama and beat Cam Newton. One of the greatest players in Auburn history, along with Bo Jackson. Gene Chizik was the coach. Won the national championship. He's the defensive coordinator. They came out first game of the year. Played a hell of a defensive game against South Carolina. Hell of a defensive game. Played well. Defense had about 7-8 sacks. Come next week, the week after that, they down there got beat by Appalachian State. Can't have it. You try and take that next step. You try and compete with FSU. Try and compete with Clemson. You can't be getting ready to lay down the Appalachian State. Can't do it. Can't happen. So Carolina problem is defense. It's the defense going to be able to make the plays necessary to do what they need to do. That's the issue. With all that being said, this weekend, tomorrow, big game tomorrow, we about to find out. FSU Clemson. Now that's going to be a game that's going to tell us a lot. We about to find out about Clemson. And we're going to find out about FSU. I think FSU going to win that game. And I'm picking FSU to win ACC this year. And Florida State has a real shot making the college football playoff. A real shot of making the college football playoff. They can do it. They can get there. If Florida State is that good, they can do it. So with that being said, I'm picking Florida State to win the ACC. Like I just said, I don't see Clemson doing it this year. Miami is a year away from really getting to that level. And North Carolina, defensively, I don't think they're gonna be able to hold up. ACC, you have the Dukes of the world. Wake Forest. Duke had a big win against Clemson. That coach, he's not going to be there long for Duke. He's long for another job. He's a very good coach. He was at A&M. He came from Texas A&M. He's the former Texas A&M defensive coordinator. He's a program builder. He knows what he's doing. Anybody that can win at Duke is a very good coach. They can coach. Duke is not an easy place to win football game, people. When you win at Duke, you're doing a hell of a job. The academic standards at Duke is like going to Harvard. And that man won 9 games last year. He's doing a great job. He's not long for Duke, much longer. He's going somewhere else soon. Somebody probably come to get him next year. Don't sleep on Michigan State. He's a very good coach. Very good coach. So, with that being said, FSU is my team to win the ACC. You know, so I think FSU can make the college football playoff. Well, I appreciate y'all, man. Subscribe, hit the sled, y'all, man. Come support me, man. Man, I got a lot of things coming, man. We just getting this thing going, man. We got to keep moving forward. It's gonna be we coming, and then we're gonna be here then. All right, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. Where's X? I always keep forgetting it's X now. X. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on YouTube. I'm there. Hit the sled. We coming, man. I appreciate y'all.